Hello there. What's going on, guys? Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you. I'm coming to you with a Legion video today, and we are going to be doing some Wookiee work. And I kind of wanted to put together a less than optimal Wookiee build, but make it a little bit fun because I've got my Wookiees now. I've got them painted up, and I want to run Chewie, and I want to run Wookiee warriors, and I want to have a close assault combat team. So I'm just going to start with Chewie and the Wookiees. I'm going to go with two. I bought 2 packs of Wookiee Warriors, so I want to run both of those. I want to run 2. Obviously, if you only have 1, just run 1. But I figured, between Chewie and these Wookiees, I'm going to have a lot of really close range folks. I want to get in close. I want to go very, very fast. That's kind of the theme of this. But at the same time, I think what I'm going to put together is probably going to be a little bit suboptimal, because I want to run a couple of different things in this list, and to fit it all in here, I really have to skimp on the core units and the number of activations. And if you're playing Legion, you know that if you go too low on activations, it gives you a severe tactical disadvantage. It doesn't mean you can't have fun with it, but it does mean that you might struggle at certain points against certain lists, and especially on certain objectives. I'm willing to take that risk here because I've gotten some new units. I want to have fun with them before I go crazy trying to win with them. And if I was trying to be very, very tactical, I'd go with I'd probably put 6 core units in there and run the kind of a bare minimum. I might not actually run Chewbacca. I might just run 2 Wookiee warriors, with more of a maybe a Leia commander and a lot of core units, making sure I have Z6s on them and things like that. That's kind of the norm, but I figured I'd do something a little different. So for Chewbacca over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give him Hunter, which is a nice one. That one's really going to be very helpful, and Tenacity. These 2 are really good. Tenacity isn't as good on Chewie. I think Chewie is probably going to be, it's not bad on him at all. I think he's going to be doing ranged attacking a little more than melee attacking. But I think if I can play the list right, he'll do a pretty good amount of both. And so I don't mind putting both of those on him. The Wookiees actually are going to get the same 2 upgrades. I'm going to give them both Hunter and Tenacity. And I'm also going to give them their heavy weapons bowcaster Wookiee. That just gives them that range 3 attack option. It gives them the option of split fire. It gives them extra hit points, 3 more hit points because each mini has 3. Then brings them up to a 12 hit point amount. And so that's where I'm kind of making up. Actually, let me just remove this one and duplicate the top Wookiee warrior. So now I've got already 360 points just for 3 units. So we're starting off very expensive. Now, like a lot of you, it would be, would agree with me, I'm sure, in that it's almost criminal to run Chewie without Han. Of course, I could imagine doing so if I was trying to be super competitive, but I think they just work really, really well together. They got natural synergy. Han Solo has or Chewie has teamwork with Han Solo, so they're naturally going to work well together. Han is going to also get duck and cover. That one works a little bit better for him because he's got that that low profile, so he can take that suppression and instantly gain heavy cover out in the open. So that is going on right there. So Han with duck and cover, Chewie with Hunter and Tenacity, 2 Wookiees with bowcaster, Hunter and Tenacities. We're over half of our list already. I'm not done yet. I just minimized that whole thing. There we go. I'm not done yet. I'm going to add Luke Skywalker also. Now this is where the list really starts to get crazy because I'm adding Luke. And Luke is going to be, he's adding to that close quarters combat. So Luke, I'm going to give Luke force reflexes to help him stay alive, and so he can trigger that deflect. I'm definitely going to need my characters to stay alive in this battle because I have so few. Now, naturally, the Wookiees have a lot of health. Chewbacca has a lot of health. Han Solo doesn't have as much. Luke doesn't have as much, but they have a decent amount. Luke's going to need those dodges. Han is probably going to rely on his natural, his uncanny luck, but also Chewbacca probably doing some Guardian work once we get in the first couple of rounds of shooting. So that's kind of what I want to do there. Now I'm already at 663. Very, very few points left. I'm going to go with some bare bones, bare bones tactics to try to fill out the rest of this list. I'm going to go regular Rebel Troopers. And I am going to give them 1 upgrade each. I am going to give them the Fragmentation Grenades. The Fragmentation Grenades are actually pretty good on a Rebel Trooper because, for one, it upgrades them from a black to a red die. And also, they have no surge at all, and they're getting surge to crit. So they're getting, there's no drawback when you use these. because the Rebel Trooper normally it's just a complete upgrade as long provided you're within close range. Because now you're going to have the best possible surges and the best kind of die per mini. So you're going to be rolling 4 red dice with surge to crit. You know, I'm not adding any other people to these units, no heavy weapons and no personnel, because when we duplicate that Rebel Trooper to make that 3 core units, that brings us all the way up to 798. And that's kind of where we kind of stop the list building. This is, you know, a very slim list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's a very low count, and that's definitely dangerous. I'm not going to deny that. There's a lot of different things we could have done. It would have been fun to try to put some laser cannon teams on this, so I have the long range, you know, shooting from behind, and then my close range up front. It would have been fun to put some snipers on there. It would have been fun to put some snow speeders on there too. I would, you know, some people are saying the snow speeders aren't as fun, but I still think the snow speeders are really, really cool. And people don't say they're not fun, but people think they're not competitive. Here's the problem. Here is the absolute problem. The command cards. So here is the tricky part, because I've got 3 people now that have their own command cards, and I have a real tough choice on which command cards to choose. And one of the main reasons that I brought Luke, you know, was that he's a melee guy. He's good at melee. That's fine, but that's not the only. One of the other main reasons I brought Luke is for this card right here. Gosh, where is it? Common Cause. Common Cause. It's gone. Why is Common Cause not there? It's Chewie's 1 pip. Why is it not? It's at the bottom. There it is. Common Cause. So I wanted to be able to run Chewie with using more than one of his command cards. And I was thinking, hey, you know what? This would be a great opportunity to do that. But when we add Common Cause to the mix, that causes us to make some really tough choices, because Luke has great command cards. Han Solo has pretty good command cards. Chewie's are good situationally, but you can't run all of them because you can only have 2 of any one pip. So now we have some really tough choices to make. Do I want to run, you know, Chewie's card? And that might mean I don't get Luke's 1 pip, or I don't get Han's 1 pip. I probably can easily skip the generic 1 pip in this case. There's no problem there. But since I do want to run Common Cause, it really gives me a tough choice. Now, obviously, Han's is amazing. It's a 0 pip, effectively. It counts as a 1 pip when you're building your hand. And it's also going to synergize with Han and Chewie's teamwork ability, because it's going to give Han the aim and dodge, which then also gives it to Chewie, the aim and dodge. So that much is nice. It also guarantees that you're going to go first. And that much is really nice too. So what would I, how would I want to not use this one? Well, I think because I am going with such a close combat list and such a up in your face list, I think Luke's is going to be more valuable to this list. I think this makes Luke very, very deadly, and I think combining this with Chewie's, this also makes Luke very deadly. Because you can have Chewie go first and then Luke go immediately afterwards, or vice versa. This gives you flexibility there. But I really like Son of Skywalker. And in this case, because of this type of build, I think this one beats Han's. Sorry about the mess. So I'm going to add Son of Skywalker as my other 1 pip. This was a tough choice because Han's is amazing too, but I can't take it unless I want to get rid of Common Cause. And this is kind of one of the inspirations for the whole build. So if I get rid of this, then maybe I just don't include Luke at all and add some more core units and make the build more competitive. But I don't want to do that. I want to test out the new tactics. So that's the reasoning behind that. Now onto our 2 pips. We're going to have tough choices at everyone. We've got Han's Reckless Diversion. We've got Chewie's Brains and Brawn. Well, obviously we're not going to go with that one because we don't have Leia. And then we've got My Ally is the Force. So we're not going to go with a generic in this case. So a lot of times I do still put generic cards in here in case my commander dies. But I've got 3 people that have their own cards between Han, Chewie, and Luke. I don't need to use generics in this build. I think I'm also going to keep all of them very close together too. So this for the 2 pip is a little bit easier because we're going to go with My Ally is the Force. This one is nice, and this one can synergize with Han and Chewie also. If Luke issues an order to Han and Chewie, they'll each gain a dodge token, which will trigger teamwork, so they'll actually each gain 2 dodge tokens. So that is very cool. I like that one. and plus they can definitely use the support. So we'll put that one in there. And then we have Reckless Diversion. We want to have as many Han Solo command cards as we can. It certainly also leans itself towards an argument for the Han's Zero pip, but definitely Reckless Diversion. I'll put that one in there. It's going to be useful to make sure that I can, like, if Luke is getting shot up, I can make sure they don't shoot Luke. So that's going to be helpful as well. So Reckless Diversion is there. Now under the 3 pips, it's going to be tough because we've got Change of Plans. That one is really, really strong. One of those stronger 3 pips. You can just totally say, "Oh, I don't like the way that those command cards played out. Let's plan different cards." And you can also get this one back with Chewie. Potentially. Notorious Scoundrels, the one from Chewie that lets you get another card back. Very, very useful. Also, it's, I think this one may potentially work better with the, if you had Han's Zero pip, because you'd have more options. But, and we also have Luke's 3 pip, which is Return of the Jedi. And that one is also really, really, really good. So it was a tough choice here, but I think I had to lean towards, first off, I want the Chewbacca card. It's the point of having 2 commanders, so I can run 2 Chewbacca cards and make use of them. But I also need Han's 3 pip. Even though I like Luke's a little better, Han's 3 pip is still really good, and I'll be able to use it twice in this case. So that's just going to be really helpful in this build because I can get it back. Otherwise, then there's no point of me really taking Notorious Scoundrels. You could make the argument to just go with Return of the Jedi and Change of Plans, but I like being able to run Change of Plans twice, so that's what we're going to run. And that's the build, guys. That's the command cards. We're starting to get to the point where we could consider actually adding which of the 4 deployment objective and conditions we're going to bring. Maybe I'll do a video on those and which ones to choose here in the near future, but I don't want to get into that for this build because a lot of times in my games I like to just random them, make them completely random, but we'll see. Alright, but let me know what you think, guys. I mean, obviously I don't think this is a super competitive build, but I think a fun build like this is a great thing to do from time to time, especially when new units come out and you want to just try to test. I wanted to get some really good use out of Chewbacca. I wanted to get some really good use out of the Wookiee warriors. And we're going to play this list very aggressively and have a good time with it. Also, if you didn't know, I have another giveaway going on right now for an Imperial Fighter Squadrons expansion pack for Star Wars Armada. That one is a very, very rare pack, and I happen to find one in the wild, and I will ship that out to whoever the winner is. That will be announced after the new year. So stay tuned for that. All you have to do to enter to win that, by the way, is subscribe and leave a comment if you're interested. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I'll put a link to this in Tabletop Admiral's site in the description below. A big thanks to my supporters on Patreon. You guys are amazing and help make this all possible. I want to thank all of you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, thumbs up, like it, subscribe, bell for alerts, all that stuff. You know the routine. I want to thank you guys so much again for watching, and have a great day.